Yes, people, how are we? How are we tonight? How are we on this fine Saturday? On this stream today, Mike's second appearance on the channel. Appreciate this guy taking his time out this night to jump on the channel. And we're going to discuss the game that we have tomorrow against West Ham, which is at home. It's coming after the back of good news of Salah extending his contract, and hopefully Van Dijk's is official as well by tomorrow. We know it's done, but we like to see him, putting the pen to paper online, people. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to add my guy in anyway. Mike's, I've put his channel pinned in the comments there, so if you'd be so kind, go check his channel out. Work rate is unbelievable. And yeah, here we go. What's happening, mate? You all good?
Yeah, man, all good. Good to be back on the channel, man. Good to be back on the channel. Thank you for having me on, man. Looking forward to it.
Always welcome, lad. Second time, innit, this year?
Yeah.
Well, second time this season, but man, you're always welcome on anytime. You know that. I think we said this last time as well. Anytime you want to hop on, more than welcome. Yeah, big up everyone, David and Chris. Yeah, man. And so Liverpool West Ham tomorrow at Anfield, near the end of the season. What are we expecting, Mike's? What do you reckon from your point of view?
Oh god, I never expect anything going to Anfield. This is literally like I write off the game.
2015.
Yep. Like literally right off the game. As soon as the season comes about, it's like, oh, we're facing Liverpool. It's like not having a game. Basically, that's how it feels when I'm facing Liverpool away, or just Liverpool in general, but especially away from home. It's like just write off. Because not because I'm like if we lost, I wouldn't be angry or anything because I'm always angry when we lose. But it's like I know what this team are like. I know what this club is like. They'll never go out and win. They'll always find a way to mess it up. When you're going to like an away ground like this, it's like you got to make less mistakes. You got to move a bit smarter. You got to play a bit different and play a bit like just a bit different. I usually would. No matter who you have in your team, no matter what players you have, no matter what tactics you already have, no matter what the manager is, you got to play a bit different. But this team always managed to make mistakes at Anfield, which makes it hard enough as it is because we're already coming up against, the likes of Salah, the likes of Van Dijk, the likes of Trent, whatever. Like, you guys already have star quality in your team. So when it comes to us, it's like we give these star quality players even more chances to put the ball in the back of the net, which is the most annoying thing. Like, and for me, it probably will be the same tomorrow, no matter what team we put out. If I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like look the way we've been playing at the minute though. Look, I predict a 2-1 tomorrow. I think you'll score first quite early on, and we'll turn it around. It'll be another sluggish type performance where we long it out. All that matters right now is actually just getting the 3 points because obviously you've seen how we've been playing lately. I've been very convincing every second half of the season. We've been knocked out of 3 competitions in quick succession. The football hasn't been as good as first half of the season, but that's just down to the depth, the quality that we've got in depth. It's just not quite there. We've been quite lucky with injuries this season, I must say. I think the squad's been managed a lot better compared to like how Klopp used to do our training sessions, which was probably in represent to his football, like it was a million miles an hour type of thing.
Definitely.
And it must have we did have a lot of injuries because of that, but it's been managed a lot better this season. But I am looking forward to the game. Especially after seeing Arsenal's results tonight, even though, they're not catching us anyway. And it takes a lot for me to say that because I've seen us choke a few titles in the last few years, mate. So, if anyone has any questions about the game tomorrow or towards Mike's himself, get them in the comments and we'll get through them all as fast as we can. So anyway, the first one, your thoughts on Potter so far? You think Potter's a decent coach for West Ham level? I think he's not bad.
Yeah. So our owners, obviously, they only usually go for 3 options. Like they only go options with like where someone that's not on a contract already. And all the managers when Lopetegui was like got sacked was like let's say the best options were Potter, Sarri, and Conceição. Like those are probably the best options when it comes to who was available at the time, who was out on a free, and I was happy with when Potter got appointed, especially with what we had to endure beforehand. Now, if you're asking me, like I'm quite negative as it is, but at the same time, I didn't think it was going to be an easy fix regardless at West Ham. When Potter came in, I thought he could get more out of this squad, and he has actually got more out of this squad, despite the fact that we're 16th. Even though people like to ignore that, just say, "Oh, we're 16th. Look what Potter's doing. Potter's doing a horrible job. He's been here 3 months. It's been 3 months. He's come in the middle of the season. He actually joined in the middle of a transfer window, which is very difficult as a manager when you're joining any new club as it is. But some of these players just haven't are being exposed to the level of you ain't got the technical ability to actually play this football. You ain't got the technical ability to stay at this club. You ain't got the ability to be the future of West Ham or be the present of West Ham. And I feel like that's what's been exposed the most. I like him. I like what he's trying to do. I feel like a lot of people are criticizing him because of his team choices, but the reason why he's changing the team so much is because he's trying to find the right balance. He knows that there's so many holes in this squad that he's trying to change everything around, and obviously you're never going to settle in properly for the rest of the season like that when you keep on changing the team around. But the reason why I have no problem with it is because we're not getting relegated, so we have nothing to play for. So he can pretty much do what he wants. I've been saying since he joined, this is the pre-season. This is the pre-season before the actual pre-season. This is to see who's going to survive and who's going to leave. And then the pre-season, the transfer window, we actually get to see what he can do with the resources he's given.
Yeah, it's because Lopetegui just killed your season off straight away, didn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We spoke about this last time we did the show on this channel before our last game. We said, you'd had Aston Villa first game of the season, I think it was. And just straight away, you could just see that how disjointed the team was and all that. And you're probably scratching your head going, "Oh my God, is this what we're in for this season?" And he was like a cat with 9 lives, really, because he kept somehow surviving. Because he should have got sacked long before he actually got sacked. Let's be honest. I think he should have went after Leicester, getting beat by them. Yep. I think that should have been the final straw. Because look how poor they are, mate. They are absolutely atrocious. Same with all the bottom 3 sides, though. But I think he's been better since he's come in. Personally, I think he's a manager that knows what he's doing. He's been in this league before. He's done things with Brighton. He's been at Ostersund's as well, hasn't he, in the past?
Yeah.
He beat Arsenal, didn't he? But I don't think he went through, but I think he beat them in one of the games away.
Yeah, he beat them in the Europa League in the first leg, I think.
He beat them 2-1 or something at the Emirates. It was mad. I never heard of that team as well before that game.
Yeah,
but he's decent, though. Obviously, he got the win against Arsenal away at the Emirates not long ago. And everyone was here when we done the Bivol Better BF boxing stream when that game actually happened. And I was blowing bubbles on camera, playing the song in the background, and then I got copyrighted. I thought I was slick, lad, but obviously I weren't, was I?
No, clearly not.
It was funny, though, because that was that was a brilliant result on the day. I thought they'd win 2-0 or something. But, my dad went, "Oh my God, Bowen." Was it Bowen that scored?
Bowen scored, yeah.
He went 1-0 last time. I was like, "Oh my God, no way," because you scored not long before half time, I think it was. And then, I watched, the last half an hour, I'd say. And then just the way Arsenal, went out with a whimper in that game, it said to me that day that they're not interested in the title. And you've just fully killed them. And you killed them every time they're in the title race as well. Because you done it last season 2-0 when Mavropanos scored, of all people. Former Arsenal player. And then the season before, I think, was it the 2-2 at your ground?
Yeah, it was,
Mr. Penn. You keep hating them, don't you? Every season. And you know what? I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, I love it.
You hate us as well when you beat us 3-2. When you had David Moyes, I think it was.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Because we lost the league by 1 point that season as well, so it's mad.
It's crazy.
I went 2-1 Liverpool too, but who knows? Maybe the contract news gives us that buzz, hopefully, for our sake. I said this, I said exactly that. I echo what you say there, Chris. I think, obviously, the contract extensions, I think it's pathetic how it's even took this long to get them done, in my opinion. But as long as they've been done, that'll put my mind to rest a little bit more. But I feel like that's a big PR spin by FSG to make an excuse not to spend as much in the summer because, but we tied these down to a contract, but this should have been done in the summer. This is what I'm saying. But I can understand why it'll be a lift going into the last few games because we need it. Because we've been crap. The footy's been boring. We have not been playing well. It's been very, just very robotic and all that, and just dead slow and, dead leggy and all that. But, we haven't been good enough lately, so hopefully that gives us a big lift. Potter has a good recent record against Liverpool from his time at Brighton. He beat us at Anfield in COVID. I know that. Remember that as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, he's a decent manager, mate. He's a decent manager. But at Anfield, when we play West Ham, our record's typically quite good, to be honest. I remember years ago when we did struggle against us at home. Obviously, we've seen the video today on West Ham's Twitter page, the 3-0, when Lovren made that mistake. That was when we had Brendan Rodgers there. And then the season after, I think you got a 2-2 at Anfield as well.
Hmm.
That's when you had Dimitri Payet playing for you as well.
Yeah,
Sick
he scored.
baller.
I think. Yeah, he scored it. I think he scored a free kick in that game. Funny enough.
You did, mate. Yeah,
But,
I
yeah.
remember that. But yeah,
Yeah,
look,
he's
since he's come in, he done something that Lopetegui never did, and that was to win back-to-back games in the league. And I
yeah.
couldn't believe he's never did that all season. I was like, wow, that's crazy. That it's like you'd win one, then you'd lose two, then you'd win one, then you'd lose two, and then draw one.
Yeah, that winning one would keep him in the job for like the next 5 games, which was the most annoying thing. Like, it was always when he was about to get sacked. This happens all the time at West Ham though. When the manager's about to get sacked, they just win that game and then they don't get sacked for like the next 5 games, and we got to wait an extra 2 months just for them to get
Yeah,
sacked.
it's crazy, innit? It's crazy. Would you put him up there like possibly one of the worst managers you've seen in your lifetime at West Ham?
He's the worst by far. It's not.
That's why it says survive Lopetegui in your name.
Yeah, yep. He's the worst manager because like when I was like first like growing up on football, it was like late 2000s, early 2010s, and we had
Mhm.
Avram Grant in 2010-11, and that was like the first season I would like go to games, and he got us relegated. We came 20th, and he should have got relegated with that squad. But given the squad that Lopetegui has had, given the fact that he had 2 players in each position, something that he required, we spent a lot of money in the summer. Given the squad that he had, he's the worst manager at West Ham. I'd go far to say he's the worst manager in the Premier League, like in terms of like ever. Because this is
Mhm.
the thing with a lot of managers that were terrible in the Premier League. They didn't have the squad Lopetegui had.
Yeah,
So Lopetegui for me is the worst manager the Premier League seen, because you can't do what he did. Like if you watched West Ham, you don't know what they were trying to do. They were sitting high up the pitch but sitting back, so everyone was just in the same space, and there was no pressing. So if you're gonna sit high up the pitch, you got to put pressure on the ball. There was no pressure on the ball. I was seeing players in weird positions. I was seeing weird combinations of players together. Um, when he got hired, I wasn't sure, but I was like, cool, we'll see what happens. Was very confused in preseason, but I thought, cool, it's preseason, it is what it is. And then we actually got into the league games, and it was just like, okay, yeah, this guy has got no clue. Like 4 games in, I think it was the Chelsea game. We don't lose to Chelsea at home. That's just something we don't do like often. And when he approached the game the way he did, the way we got outplayed, that was like, yeah, it's time to go. But people don't like to say that because it's like early on and stuff. But it's just ridiculous. It's like give someone time, but give them time for what? For what? Like the reason why I'm doing that with Potter is because he didn't have a preseason. He hasn't had a transfer window. He got hired
yeah,
in the middle of a transfer window. It's different. If he does that, if Graham Potter gets money in the summer, he gets his own preseason, and he's doing weird things, and I can see that a few games in. I'm gonna have the same energy for him as well. Like it doesn't change anything, but it's
yeah,
with the right. I feel like I give people the right context to see whether they can be at the right level or not at the club. And Lopetegui was one of the ones where it was just like he self-destructed very easily,
yeah,
and like he kept making excuses. Even in a couple interviews when he left the club, he was talking about we're on the right track. We were not on the right track. We were still 14th, 15th, 16th. So maybe we're on the right track to go to the championship or something. But that was the only thing of right track that we were looking towards. We were not on the right track of anything. Like you couldn't see anything he was trying to do. Like nothing.
yeah.
Like he wanted all the players that stayed at West Ham as well. He wanted them to stay. So it's not like he had like any excuses. He wanted everyone in that squad.
And you know what? I agree with what you're saying as well. And obviously, before the season started, a lot of people were tipping you to do well, obviously
Mm,
because of the transfer window that you had.
yeah,
You signed like Somerville, Fulkrug, Tadibo, Kilman,
yeah,
Wan-Bissaka.
hmm
Good, decent players that that you'd think would gel well together.
hmm
Obviously, like I said before, just by watching the first game against Aston Villa, it was just one of them. Like it was a warning sign, weren't it?
yeah,
And you know, it got worse the longer it got. It
yeah.
actually did.
Literally.
Like the Leicester defeat, games like that. When you played us as well, when we
hmm
won 5-0. And we spoke about that game as well. I can't remember exactly what we said, but you weren't very. I don't think you were very confident going into the game.
No,
Um,
no, it was not.
I was a bit like
Not at all.
anything can happen type of thing because it can, but I was confident as well because of I just seen how poor West Ham have been so far. But
That's
it'll
the
be a
only
tougher
game I've
game.
left. That's the only game I left early. Like I'm because I went to that
Oh
game.
yeah,
Like I
you
don't
went, yeah,
leave games early ever. Like I go to every home game, and I've not like the only time I ever left a home game early was when I went with my mum. She wasn't feeling too well anyway. We got battered by City in the cup, So we just fuck this is over. FA Cup, cool. We're out of the cup. Let's just go home. And that was the only game where I left. I was like, I can't put up with this anymore. I can't keep putting up with this. I'm not seeing. I don't want to watch Liverpool just pass the ball around whilst we're 4-0 down early in the second half. So I'm going home. I don't need to watch this. Like I shouldn't have to. And then after the next game, our next game was against City, and then he finally got sacked. But this board decided to sack him after a loss against City rather than a loss against Leicester, which didn't make sense to me. But it's because they couldn't agree a deal with Potter that early, because we were going to get Potter anyway. That was the link. We were going to get Potter, but they didn't agree on anything, so they just kept Lopetegui. And then they finally agreed on a deal. Like, it took them long enough. And then Potter got one training session for his first game. Our board are incompetent. And our chairman has rehired himself again as director of football, which is one of the worst things you could do. Because this guy is the same guy that would only identify transfer targets via the agents he knows, which is what we had to put up with pretty much forever before the David Moyes era. Because before David Moyes, we had managers that wanted directors of football. They got directors of football. But then the chairman would still have a say in the transfers. You should be having a say in whether to sign off the deals, not to identify the players and getting the deals done. That's not your job. But he's done that again. So I'm quite worried with West Ham going forward. Which is why we can't have nice things. West Ham can never have nice things. When we have good players, we have a shit manager. When we have a good manager, we have shit players. And when we do have a balance of both and we have potential, the owner will find a way to mess it up. That's been the story of my life as a West Ham fan. Despite the trophy from 2 years ago, people will be like, you won a trophy 2 years ago, like, be happy and all that. Like, we were promised expectation because we moved to the stadium. That's what we were promised. We were promised expectation. If this was Upton Park, nobody would care. Nobody would care. But because we have to endure what we have to endure within the stadium that we're in, we're going to complain. We're going to complain.
Upton Park was tougher as well, in my opinion. Tougher ground to go to. Tight pitch does play a factor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The fans are very close to the players, so it's more hostile for them. It's like Anfield, that's a tight pitch as well. Teams struggle at Anfield. Goodison Park, that's a tight pitch as well. Obviously, Upton Park was a tight one, and we did struggle there as well over the years. We really did, actually, yeah. Upton Park was a nightmare, to be honest. Jesus Christ, I can remember some mad games at Upton Park. Jesus Christ. I can remember John Joe Shelby scoring a winner years ago. I think that was like Rodgers' first season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's funny about John Joe Shelby is where he's from, like where he's born, is near where I'm from, sort of thing. So he's from Rumford, I'm from Chadwell Heath, which is like two areas next to each other. And he was a West Ham fan growing up. He was in West Ham's academy for a couple of years. So whenever John Joe Shelby returned to West Ham, he'd always have a masterclass against us. Always have a masterclass against us. It's funny how he said like back Harry Potter there, because of irony of mentioning John Joe Shelby afterwards, because there was a whole chant of us calling him Voldemort at Anfield when he was warming up. the irony of that full circle moment. But he always played well against us just because of that. It's because he's a West Ham fan. Like, he was at the academy, and then he always came back, whether it was for Swansea, Liverpool, Newcastle, always had a masterclass against us. All the time.
Somehow.
All the time.
You should just find it out from somewhere. Like we were speaking about before, like when you mentioned, the board and all that. How do you actually feel about the board, like, since you've moved stadium, and like the progress that you've made from what you were promised?
Because people are going to say that, like, if like we complain about any little thing, we're ungrateful and all that, but I don't think people understand what we've had to put up with beforehand. Like, I'm kind of lucky that I didn't have to go through the Icelandic owners that nearly ran us into the ground just before Gold, Sullivan and Brady took over, because we were nearly bankrupt. We were nearly bankrupt in that era, like just after the Carlos Tevez era and all that. And to be honest, for me, like, it is difficult because they took over, they stabilised the club. We got relegated. We actually kind of need, like Mark Noble even said it himself, we needed to get relegated at the time to like regroup as a club. And that's what we did do. Sam Allardyce stabilised us. And then we moved to London Stadium with Stamford Village. And we was then promised we're going to be taken to the next level, and all this nonsense, all this, like, it's just PR. It's just PR, as it always is. Always is at this club. But for me, it's still not good enough. The reason why it's still not good enough is because when we won the Conference League, a lot of people said when we were in that competition that it was a competition we was meant to win for some reason. Even though we're West
Yeah.
Ham United and we haven't won a trophy since 1980, it was a competition we were meant to win because we was way better than every other team in that competition. Like, Fiorentina are a good team, but we completely outplayed them. They're naive. Like there was a lot of like just naive teams that just wanted to play football around, but nobody was giving us credit when we won it. People were only talking about our trophy win when we wanted to sack David Moyes because people wanted to use something against us. Like it was like when we were sixth in the league. And I'm not saying like the media or anyone's against West Ham. I don't do this whole victimizing nonsense because listen, every football club gets shit from the media. Every single club, whether people like it or not. Like everyone gets victimized by the media. But the media nonsense, like the whole radio shows and stuff, and the like Sky Sports or whatever, will say West Ham made sixth because the fans weren't there, even though we made seventh the next season with fans. So that diffused everything that they were trying to do. What these owners promised, I don't think anything will be good enough because we've had to put up with multiple teams where the age group was too high. There's a lot of slow players. We've needed a striker for pretty much all my life, and we never seem to replace the previous players that do well. They don't sell well. They don't buy well. They offer out false promises. They talk too much in the media, and like to be honest, I've been owner out for a very long time anyway. For as long as I've having a competent brain of understanding football, and to be honest, they've kind of been there all my life supporting them, for the most part. And moving to the stadium made it even worse because despite the fact that we won a trophy, I said this before because Karen Brady did an interview on Sky talking about West Ham fans are used to the stadium now and all this. I'm like, you do not speak for me. You do not speak for me. Like, and we didn't win the competition because we moved to the London Stadium. Like, if we was in Upton Park, we still would have won that. We still would have won that competition if we were at Upton Park. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. It's about quality of the team. Like, we didn't sign. There's no one we signed ever in the London Stadium that we couldn't have signed being at the previous stadium. There was no point moving stadium. It's not like we've gone up a level as a football club or been recognised in reputation or anything that people can argue that has warranted the right to move stadium. Like, we could have signed Lucas Paquetá at Upton Park. We could have signed Mohamed Kudus at Upton Park.
Yeah.
We could have signed anyone that we signed in this era at Upton Park. We literally signed Dimitri Payet. That's the best player I've seen at West Ham. Declan Rice was an academy kid. That was not a signing. So the best players at this club in my lifetime, one was Dimitri Payet the last season at Upton Park where we already signed him, and the other was Declan Rice, like an academy kid. Jared Bowen was a championship player that we made into what he is. Mikel Antonio was a championship player, which we made what he is. So there's no one that we signed where we couldn't have signed at Upton Park. Yeah. So there's no excuse.
Do you feel like you've signed Potter, haven't you, till the end of the season? Is that right?
I think it's like a 2.5 years, something like that.
2.5. I think so. We're going to get him until the end of the season and just see how we did.
They tried, but Potter wanted a longer contract, so that was never going to agree upon that.
Nah, fair enough. And obviously, we're going to see what he's going to do in the summer. You know, give him a proper pre-season as well. See, you know, then you can actually see how things can get going next season. Because I don't blame you, because I've seen, you know, fans just go, I want the season wrote off already because there's nothing really left to play for, to be honest. You're not going down either, which is obviously good for you. You should never even be in that position anyway in the first place, to be honest. Like, I don't know how Lopetegui effed that up so bad, but it's crazy. And he's won a Europa League as well, hasn't he? With
Sevilla, yeah. But everyone's won a Europa League with Sevilla. Like, they had a manager that got sacked. Their last Europa League, they sacked that manager. So it's quite easy for Sevilla to win the Europa League most of the time. Like, Unai Emery won like 2 or 3.
3 on the bounce, weren't it? He was in the final 3-1.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely crazy. But Jesus Christ, yeah, we played I forgot about the cup game. I completely forgot about the 5-1 in the cup. And we went 1-0 down that game as well, didn't we? Swear.
Yeah, I think so.
Quanta own goal.
The scruffiest goal we've ever scored this season. Like.
Remember when I was away watching that on a family holiday, and then West Ham scored first. I was like, "No way, is this actually happening?"
I don't think anybody thought that West Ham were going to hold on. No one thought. Like, every time we go 1-0 up against a Big Six club, I'm just like, yeah, all right, cool. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he will tomorrow, though. I think he will score first. But I wanted to ask, though, obviously, you watch West Ham all the time. week in, week out. Know a lot more than what I do, mate, to put it that way. Kudus and Paqueta, they haven't been, for me, in my opinion, at the level that they were last season or the season before or whatever. And we know what they can do as well. I think Paqueta's an unreal player, hence why City were willing to go in and spend all sorts of money to get him. I think it was maybe last year or the season before. And Kudus as well, I feel like he's fell off a cliff somehow. But why is that though? Why do you think that is? Because they are quality players. You can't just lose your quality overnight, can you?
Yeah, you can't. I think with Lucas Paquetá, it's just a case of maybe he's just not as good as maybe we thought he was. But at the same time, it's like the reason why I've been so hesitant in the past to be like, okay, you are this bad, is because I know what they're capable of. As you said, like I've seen top performances from both of them. But it's come to a point now where I'm like, you've got a coach now. You've got a coach now that can coach. So you ain't really got an excuse to be performing bad. Like, Kudus, to be found, Lopetegui was making a lot of excuses for because of his, like, he was playing on the left, on the touchline. So he can only just go on the touchline across and be direct, which is not his skill set. He can't run at players. He can't, like, control games or whatever. He can't drive with the ball. Can't run and take people on. He doesn't have the ability to do that when he's playing on the left. With Paquetá, sometimes you'll get a 10 out of 10 from him or a 0 out of 10. He's just that kind of. He's so erratic. Like I'll be honest. Most of his wrongdoings are a bit he self-destructs quite easily. So like a lot of his mistakes is his own fault. It's not because of the circumstances around him. But like he started really well on his first season. Like first 6 months he had to settle in, and then the back end of that season played really well. Last season he did play well, but I could still see that we needed better because he was still playing off the left. And I know if he was playing in the 3 in midfield, he would be playing a lot better. Under Lopetegui, we saw nothing because Lopetegui was Lopetegui, but at the same time, he doesn't help himself. He's known to just make errors in the areas where you don't want a player to make errors. It's like because he's uncoachable, because one of our coaches did say that last season, that he is uncoachable, and he just does what he wants. I feel like he feels like he has too much freedom. Whereas a case of like he can feel like he could get away with what he wants to do, and he'll still be put in the side. And I don't think the allegations around him have helped. But at the same time, I don't think he's performing bad because of that. I just think he just makes mistakes on the pitch because he thinks he's allowed to. And I feel like every manager likes the idea of what he can be, but I feel like the idea is better than the application. With Mohamed Kudus, it's kind of the same thing where I don't think he wants to be here, because I feel like what he was promised when he came here was a lot different. I was hesitant to say that it's because he doesn't want to be here, his attitude and whatever, because I don't like using that word because it's very vague to just say someone's attitude is bad. But I feel like we don't really have much of a choice but to point at that at this point, because you've got a coach and you're still not performing. I get why he fell out with David Moyes and Lopetegui, which is very understandable. He fell out with both managers. Moyes just doesn't use him correctly, and Lopetegui's literally subbed him off in a game where he was playing him out of position. So it's like completely understandable. Lopetegui fell out with half the dressing room quite early. People don't even know that, but he did. And now he's
Tadimo and that, yeah.
Yeah, Tadimo wanted to lamp him at half-time against Arsenal. Like proper lamp. I don't blame him. They should have just let him do it. But with Kudus and the Potter, it's like you don't have the excuse of not playing in your position, because when you have played in your position, you've been bad. When you haven't played in your position, you've still been bad. So it kind of hasn't really made a difference. So I think he needs to just move for the sake of himself and for the sake of us. I think we need to move past these big name players. I think we just need to get on with like players that just fit what Potter's trying to do, that will give you the right application in certain other positions. I feel like we just need to sign quick players that are going to take people on the wings and just create players that are going to keep it ticking rather than overdoing it all the time. Because I feel like both of them just take too many touches on the pitch. And despite the fact that you're meant to be known as being creative players, you need to release the ball, you need to combine with players. They're not doing that. And unfortunately, I think that both of the chapters have come to an end. Paquetá's going to be harder to sell because his thing is in May, I think, the court hearing and all that. So we'll see. And with Kudus, a lot of clubs were meant to be swimming around him, but due to his like bad performances since January, I haven't really heard I haven't even heard a bad link from a journalist that doesn't even know what they're talking about. I haven't even heard one of them. let alone a strong link. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I kind of hope they both leave for the sake of us, really.
Yeah. And you know what? You can attract decent players as well, as we've seen in the market over the years. You
Yeah.
can attract like decently named players that even I would take at Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
Tadibo, the centre half. I think he's a great player. I would have had him
Yeah.
all day. Good
Yeah.
player. Somerville, he's not bad. Take him.
Yeah.
He's not a bad
Yeah.
player. He's actually quite good. He has a bit of life about him.
Mm-hmm.
Paqueta's nieces and nephews on a small Brazilian island doing bets for him. Probably. What do you think about Evan Ferguson, though? And I'll give my honest opinion on him, mate. I think he's overhyped. Overhyped youngster, personally. David in the comments right here is he's from Ireland. So, David, don't get too offended, mate, but I think your boy's terrible. But, Mike's, what do you reckon about him? Because you know more. You see him at West Ham.
I just don't
Is he
get the
injured
signing.
or...
No, he's
Yeah.
not injured. But I just don't get the signing just because we signed him on a straight loan. So if he does play well, we'll be priced out. And if he doesn't play well, then cool. Then it was a pointless signing. And to be honest, I can't really criticize him. Just because as much as I don't really rate him that highly, I don't think he's shit. I don't think he's brilliant. I don't think he's either. I just think he's okay. You're just there, sort of thing. But I didn't get the point of signing an injury-prone striker that's just come back from injury with no match sharpness in the middle of January, where he would have to settle in to get match sharpness when there's only 4 months of the season left. We're in April and he started one league game, and then he got taken off at halftime in that league game. So there's literally no point of signing the guy. There was no point, which is what I said when we signed him. There was no point. There was no point of signing him. It was just kind of like, oh, well, we signed a striker and all that, but like. I don't really see like I just don't see the point. He had no match sharpness, so how do you expect him to settle in?
Yeah, and it was an ACL as well that he did, wasn't it? Was it an ACL?
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And those injuries, mate, they're heavy. Like,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to come back from one of them. It really does. And are you even the same player when you come back?
No.
I mean, luckily Van Dijk has come back good after his ACL, but you know, can fuck a lot of players' careers up, in my opinion.
Yeah, he didn't even come on in the last game. He didn't even come on. I didn't get any minutes. It just Fulkirk came on and he made a difference. Like Fulkirk is a better striker than him quite comfortably.
Yeah,
So-
he banged goals in for Dortmund last year, Fulkirk.
Yep.
And that's another signing as well that I looked at and went, Jesus Christ, they just got themselves a proven goal scorer there.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, man. Like I said, yeah, you know, you're attracting good names in the market, and you can probably do the same in the summer as well. Do you know what I mean? West Ham win incoming, says Charlie. I can feel it in my bones.
Big ups to Charlie.
What score are we saying, Charlie? What score are we saying tomorrow? I think a 2-1. I think we actually go 1-0 down tomorrow.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we score first and bottom it.
You lock and have super doopy Darwizzy. You know what, Mike's brother? You can have Darwizzy for free if you want him.
Hey, wait, Joseph,
biggest waste of money ever.
So funny. Moyes wanted him. What's it? 21-22 season, and in January we bidded the last like on deadline day, bid like 40-50 million for him. But it was because it was one of them ones where it was like we tried sort of thing. We tried to sign someone in January. We signed no. That was when we tried to sign Rafinha and Calvin Phillips for both 50 million. Obviously, that was never going to happen. Even though I don't rate Calvin Phillips at all. Leeds were never going to sell him in the middle of a relegation battle. Simple as that. Same with Rafinha. And there was a case of like we bidded for them 3 and Trossard in that January just to say we tried. I think he'd do my absolute head in. I think he's the most West Ham striker that West Ham haven't signed in this current day of football, where it's like you are absolutely like dog shit. Like let's be honest, absolutely dog shit. But it'll be like he's just like a super chaotic, fast, and will miss sitters. That's a West Ham striker if I've ever seen one. Super chaotic and just misses sitters. Like I don't get the hype. I never got the hype. I never got the people trying to defend him for the sake of it. So
they still do. They still do.
Yeah,
they still do somehow. Like,
I don't understand.
Even when he's like missing sitters and all that. Even our own manager called him out. Slot. He said, he said I can accept missing, big chances and all that, but one thing I can't accept is not putting in the work rate.
Yeah.
And because he misses a couple of chances, which he does anyway, which winds me up, his head drops. He doesn't try for the rest of the game. Then he'll make a stupid foul and he'll try and get sent off. And I just can't stand the guy personally. I just don't like his face, mate. It winds me up. Him and Diaz, the pair of them piss me off. I don't rate the pair of them, mate. I think they're awful. I thought Diaz was all right once upon a time until he had his knee injury against Arsenal. Hasn't come back the same player, unfortunately. And for me, like,
Yeah.
I'm not clinging on to the past. You're either good enough or you're not. And if you're not, sorry, mate, it's a business. Do you know what I mean? See you later. Do you know what I mean? We don't like hang on emotionally towards these players, do we? Unless they're really good, unless they actually do something. But just because they've they scored a goal here and there and all that. Like when he got a brace against Brentford in I think it was back in January, the fans were chatting about redemption arc and all that on Twitter. I was like, what? Are you crazy? Because he scored 2 stoppage time goals against Brentford. Are you mad? He's crap. He's absolutely awful, mate. He's not a footballer. He's an athlete. And I'll keep saying it every day. But if that guy is about to be a Premier League winner, hopefully, and that is going to be unbelievable, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's like Ryan Brewster getting a Champions League medal, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Hey, I always defend him just because he's the only one from my area to do anything. Like we went to the same primary school, but like he's like 3 years older than me. Yeah, he's from my area, Chadwell Heath. But he's like the only one that's like my area is so random. It's him and Jesse J. You remember Jesse J, the singer? Like these are the only 2 people from my area that are like famous.
That's sick.
I didn't know. I went to school with him until one of my friends from my area was like, Rhian Brewster went Chadwell Primary and Chadwell Secondary and all that. I was like, oh my, seriously? Because there was like an old picture of him being a ball boy at West Ham, and it was like a picture with Gerrard, and like someone pointed that out to me. But yeah, I always just defend him purely on the bias of the fact that he's from my area. That's it. Like, there's no one here from my area that does anything. Like, so I have to champion someone.
We had don't know if anyone, well, you will remember him, a Stoke striker. He used to go to our school, Jonathan Walters, the Irish guy. Right. He went to our school, our secondary school. Yeah, I wasn't there with him at the time, but he did go to that school, like me secondary. But yeah, Jonathan Walters was there, big bad Johnny Walters, mate, and he used to always score against us as well.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember. I remember him scoring like an own goal and missing a penalty in the same game. I think it was against Chelsea or something.
Probably one of the most cursed games of football ever.
Yeah.
Missed a penalty, scored an own goal, and I think he maybe got sent off as well. I can't remember. It was sort of
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
That wasn't. It was like a decade ago, weren't it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Barclays era.
Man, where's that time gone though? Where
I don't know.
These ball has gone. It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know. Next year will be like 10 years to Leicester winning the league.
Wow. That's mad. That's crazy. Time's just flying by, man. Swear down. But you know what? I want to speak about one thing though. Like, obviously, I'm made up. We are where we are in the league. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to milk the shit out of the Premier League title. I am.
Yeah, of course.
Like pictures of Endo and Darwiz, lifting it, mate. I'm going to milk it because I've never seen it. I haven't. Like, the last time it happened in front of fans was 1995. Obviously, we've seen it in COVID and lockdown, but it's not the same, is it?
No.
But I just want to talk about like the quality of football games now, especially in the Premier League. Like, they were a lot more exciting years ago, but I'm sitting there watching them nowadays. I'm not getting that much of a buzz out of them, really, to be honest. Unless I'm out watching it, having a beer. If I'm sat at home, unless like it's a 90th minute winner against the big side when we desperately need it. Just a lot of the time, mate, it's just like the games are just like they're very like nullified, aren't they? Because players aren't getting as much like freedom anymore because everyone has to stay in certain zones or whatever. But I just want to see what your opinion is on like the way these games are going and will they get better or worse?
I don't know whether it's going to get better. But then football goes in cycles, so you never know. So I feel like people are hanging on to that hope when they mention that. But for me, everyone's been micromanaged, and people are like, "Oh, blame Pep and all that." No, don't blame Pep. Blame young coaches for trying to be like Pep, because the reason, like we discussed this on stream the other day, that all the people that like do well against Pep don't play Pep style. Like the Ancelottis or the Tuchels or the Klopps, like they don't play Pep style when they beat them in individual games or whatever. Everyone is trying to do their own version of 3-2-5 in possession. Literally every team, every single team in the Prem plays 3-2-5 in possession no matter what formation they play. It's very pointless. It's like we're watching everyone man marking each other for 90 minutes and it's doing my head in. I feel like I have to be levered to watch every game and enjoy it. Yeah, like I don't even want to like drink as much as I usually would in like a pub or anything. But like that's the only way I'd enjoy football. That's the only way I'm gonna
That's
enjoy football
true. Yeah,
nowadays. Like
yeah.
like the Champions League. Don't get me wrong. Like I've kind of enjoyed the Champions League a bit because like you still get like different teams clashing of styles, etc., different managers, and Italian league and the French league and the Spanish league. Despite like what people may say about the quality in certain leagues, they have good individuals.
Mm.
We lack good individuals in this league. Like even like 10 years ago, like the Barclays era, or whatever, we had a Hazard, we had an Alexis Sanchez, we had a Luis Suarez. Like whoever it was, these are individuals you would pay to watch. David Silva, whoever. Like
Oh
these are
mate, yeah.
individuals you would
Oh,
enjoy and watch to take the games by the scruff of the neck and make something out of nothing. There's probably no players I can think of in the Prem that will make something out of nothing, and I actually just enjoy watching them for the sake of watching them. Like that's just me though. Like I feel like it's not just like the smaller teams in when they get promoted from the championship to the Prem not being able to survive or anything. It's everything. It's the Europe. It's the fact that we're looking at like 4th to 10th being that that's the best part about the league right now, or 3rd to 10th now that Forest has slipped up again. Like as who's going to make top four? I don't really care. I don't care who makes top four. I'm gonna be 100% honest. It does not affect my life. Well, none of this affects my life, but 3rd to 10th does not affect me. It doesn't affect me. Even if West Ham were there, it's not really that deep. It's like I want to get Europe no matter what sort of thing. I'll take any part of Europe. Unless West Ham are there, I'm not going to care who's in between 3rd or 10th. When it comes to the league title, I knew Arsenal weren't going to win the league a long, long time ago because it's Arsenal. If it was City chasing Liverpool, it may be a bit different. I'd
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
But it's Arsenal. The relegation battle, I've never been afraid of getting relegated this season. I've seen a lot of relegation battles. I've been here before. I know when West Ham are capable of getting relegated and when they're not. And this season hasn't been one of them because Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton are borderline useless.
yeah,
And Southampton are definitely useless. They're on course to break Derby County's record, which is quite funny. But
yeah.
I don't like watching football anymore. I've said that if I didn't have a channel, I probably wouldn't watch. I'd probably be doing something else. But I have a channel now. I've kind of made my bed. I got a lie on it. I'm trying to grow a YouTube channel, so I'm watching football now. Like if this was off camera, I would have stopped watching. Like I love football, but I
Mhm.
would have stopped. This is not the football I grew up on. This is not the sport I grew up on. I feel like Messi and Ronaldo set the bar too high because with the footballers I'm watching now, I can't believe what I used to watch. Because even if there
Mad,
wasn't
it's
Messi and
mad.
Ronaldo, it used to be like Benzema, Neymar, Bale, whoever it was, Robin. Like I used to watch like if you wasn't Messi, Ronaldo, there'll be someone whoever else was like world class. They weren't Messi
Ibrahimovic,
and
Robben,
Ronaldo.
Ribery. Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like these players were world class. They weren't Ronaldo, and Messi, but they were still world class. But all those players we just mentioned would be a million times clearer of any player we're watching now. The only players I'm enjoying watching are outside of this league, like Desiree Doué or Lamine Yamal. And I don't really watch them like that. I just watch them in the
yeah,
Champions
yeah.
League.
Yeah. That's it, man. And like, everyone's saying like Real Madrid, they're going to turn it around against Arsenal next week. I don't know because I don't think there's as many like clutch players in their team anymore, like the likes of Benzema and all that. Like you seen years ago, where they
Yeah,
just got a hat trick against PSG and sent them through.
yeah,
Tony Cruz as well. I believe he should have stayed on for another year. If you're going to keep Modric, keep him as well because he's
yeah. You
still
have
just
to.
as good. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
quality.
definitely.
But look, I agree with you completely. I think the games are just getting terrible now. Like a lot of them,
Hmm.
and the Premier League is the main culprit as well. Because a lot of the big games that Sky Sports like put loads of hype towards, like the big six, would you like colliding together? Like Spurs and Man United. Remember when they were playing each other not long ago? And I called that game and said there'll be a shitty 1-0 stinkfest. And it ended 1-0, one of the worst games I've watched. Manchester
Yeah.
Derby, mate, what was that like on Sunday?
Oh, that was
Exactly,
the one.
but
It's one of
even
the
the other
worst
one
games
was
ever.
crap. Even the
Yeah,
other
it
one was
was.
crap when Ahmad
It
scored that
was.
last minute goal. That was still in terms of quality. The game was so poor, mate. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
We've been in some crap games as well, like Liverpool. Like we've been in some awful games. Like in terms of quality, mate, it just hasn't been there at all. Like compared to like how the media wants to gas these games up and all that and say it's going to be you know an amazing game. That's should we say, but they're not because we sit there and we're like, well, we can't know what to expect now in these games. They're just
Hmm.
going to get the ball, take a load of touches, they're going to get in a decent position, and they'll end up passing it back to the keeper eventually. And that's what winds me up as well, mate. Why can't he just take risks?
No, I
Like
don't know.
just go for it a bit more, make it a bit more exciting.
Everyone's
We
micromanaged.
want
It's
to see
annoying.
goals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought City and Palace was all right today.
Yeah, it was.
Palace were
Yeah.
2-0 up, weren't they? And they were giving them a game. They really were, but we don't see enough of these good games. To be honest, it's
No.
a lot of the games I fell off a cliff, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
But just looking at the table as well, look at Spurs and Man United, look at them, where they are now. 15th Tottenham are. And don't get me wrong, mate, I'm loving it. With United being down there as well. But you got the likes of Bournemouth creeping up there, Fulham and all that. Forest and third. Like that's unbelievable, isn't it? And Forest Everton games today, I watched that. Terrible game.
Oh, it's terrible. I watched that as well. It's awful.
Yeah.
Awful
How
game.
crap was that?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's just like
And
ball in the air, header away, clearing. Like, I can't be asked to watch that shit.
Yeah, you'll get so many more of them. A lot of Man United games are like that. Man United games are horrible to watch, mate, aren't they?
Horrible, yeah.
Absolutely terrible. But they're playing Newcastle away tomorrow. I think they'll get done there.
Yeah, they will.
But yeah, anyway, I'm going to give it a wrap there, Mikes. Brother, I appreciate you coming on always, my guy. You're always welcome on here. But, before we go, let the people know what's coming up on your channel and what we can expect.
Yeah, I've got the watch along tomorrow, unfortunately. I've got Pro Clubs tonight, watch along tomorrow, stream with Alfie at 10 on Monday, and then we've got stuff for the Champions League coming up. So yeah, pretty much live or uploading every day. Just trying to get to 1K as soon as possible, really.
Yeah, come on, lad, just smashing it. And what are your socials as well?
Yeah, at GV on mics on all platforms and on YouTube. So yeah, come and follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of that. I'll be active on all of them.
Brilliant, lad. Anyway, people, I put his channel in the pinned comments right there. Go over and check it out if you'd be so kind. And brother, we'll do something again in the future, no doubt about it. Always welcome, man. And I appreciate you taking your time out to jump on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate it.
Good night, brother, and good luck tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Right, see you later, man. Right, people, that is me anyway. Take it easy. Peace out. Up the beds. FSG out always. can't forget that, can I? Peace.
No.